Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's finals front load. In another episode of Spilling Tea, I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels, and we're going back to that horrible world known as the JRC. But before we do the disclaimers, and just a random blurt out, Yogi Tea's blueberry tea is awesome. This is my new crack. Just said. To the disclaimers, we're going to shoot through, folks. In the description box, you're going to find a link to the article that the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read. It's written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics, wherein they interviewed and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's so-called behavior modification program. Matter of fact, the JRC doesn't want you to read this article so much. They have threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic has refused, so you know the drill. Please read that article and share it on all your social media. Also included in there is NeuroClastic's public statement regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding in case the JRC actually sees through with their threat. Also included in there, the Ozark's first article in regards to Agape boarding school, now known as Stone for Help boarding school situation, a so-called Christian-themed boarding school based in Stockton, Missouri that takes in so-called trouble meal teens that has impending over 21 civil lawsuits, claims, and allegations leveled against it, all which have been substantiated by the Missouri Department of Social Services, and they include the following: sodomy, rape, sexual assault, child abuse, psychological and emotional abuse, child trafficking, starvation, and that's just for starters. You have one former staff member arrested by the FBI, another a doctor still on the premises with full access to the boys, up on multiple substantiated claims of sodomy, rape, and sexual assault of the boys there. You have an attorney general too busy chasing after drag queens and trying and failing to defund public libraries to actually do his job. And you got a governor off his nut. So please read that article. Share it on all your social media. We got the other pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign as well, including Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject, Jennifer Masumba's behavioral sheet of shockable offenses, a clip out of the 7-hour ordeal undergone by Andre McCollins back in 2002, the templates, and the ever-present, self-explanatory change.org shut the Judge Rotenberg Center down petition. When we discuss the JRC, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips or surveillance footage of people with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you do got young children present, please use your headphones, alright? Trigger warning. This channel is marked not for children for a reason. We use profanity on occasion and speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they are watching this, very obviously parental supervision is very much advised, alright? Another trigger warning. This New England Law Review was written in the summer of 1988. It is very much in agreement behind this barbaric idea that you have the right to torture kids with disabilities if they don't fit your idea of normal. Be prepared to be triggered throughout. I've already been triggered. We're going to try not to rant, but we'll see how it goes, alright? Okay, so where we left off last time. Any stipulation receiving court approval may be appealed, amended, or dismissed upon request of either party as circumstances change. Notice this is about the family or the state. The person in question never even comes into the picture. Cute, isn't it? Some might argue that the ability to amend a stipulation using the court-supervised ADR approach is a fundamental problem with this procedure. You think? Excuse me if I don't leap for joy that the state that is best known around the world for the Salem witch trials is supposed to be protecting my rights, alright? And the fact that they haven't really progressed all that far from that time, we've just gone from, hanging witches to sending disabled people to torture centers. As in the norm in family law, however, the disputes are constantly in flux. Finality is evasive, and there are seldom winners or losers as traditionally perceived. Are you on crack? Is crack what you smoke? Because I can tell you who the losers are. The person who's not given a voice in any of this is the loser, in case anyone is wondering. In cases like this, there is very much a loser, and it's always the person with the disability. It's the person whose voice has been ripped away from them, whose consent was not gained, and nobody even cared to try to see what we think of the situation. Okay? Seriously? A stipulation worked out by an agreement is generally more easily enforced as it's not been imposed on the parties by a higher authority, and neither side feels that it has been defeated by the other. Because God forbid the parents who want to send me to a torture center and a government that wants to agree with them not get along. If I rolled my eyes any harder, I could probably describe to you what the back of my skull looks like. Under a program such as this, the parents and state are partners working together for the best interest of the child rather than their adversaries. No, you're not. No, you're not. What you are is a liar or deluded or both. If you are sending a kid to a hellhole like this, you are not, by any definition of the word, acting in the best interests of the child. How is this a hard concept to understand? If you are sending a kid to a place that you know has murdered a child, at this point it was 2. But what they do there is really in your best interest. They killed a kid, Karen. Do you not understand this? Their treatment program kills. Their treatment program has killed 6 times. Their treatment program has put kids in ERs. Their treatment program has caused untold psychological damage to generation after generation of disabled people. In particular, disabled people who are also people of color. Explain to me how that is in anyone, literally anyone's best interest. Explain it to me like I'm 5. Okay? I do not understand an entire system that seems to be built up around this place to protect it from even the smallest amount of criticism. If this had been any place else, literally any place else, my God, could you imagine, let's say in a neurotypical high school, some teenagers started acting like, well, teenagers. So the teacher takes out a gun and starts shooting them in the leg. Do you have any idea the uproar something like that would cause? The law, the news would be all over it. Yet somehow, if we say that not leaving one piece of unbruised skin on a kid, or one place where there not be a scab bleeding, somehow that's in the best interests of the disabled person. That is agreed upon by both the state and the parents. This is the so-called logic we're up against, folks. It's this bizarre idea that we cannot question the treatment. This is why medical malpractice actually exists. for lawsuit bases. Because guess what? Even when you call it treatment, some treatment causes death. Like, seriously? These people act like medical malpractice lawsuits have never existed. It's this blind belief in the medical model that can never possibly do any harm to your child. We're just trying to make them normal. Normal doesn't exist. Normal is an idea in y'all's head of what you think everyone else is, but nobody actually is. Or as Paul would define it, normal is what everyone else is and you are not. It's an idea. It's a fantasy. Doesn't exist anywhere but in here. The only thing that makes it real in the physical world is a bunch of the masses all agreed on what normal is, even if their perception of normal makes about as much sense as torturing someone to get them to stop self-abuse.
The way I've always put it is, I'm perfectly normal. It's the rest of the world that's weird.
You see what I mean? So we're going to torture you. We're going to make you scream. We're going to jump you. We're going to shock you. We're going to starve you. We're going to sleep deprive you until you act like a normal person. Karen, you don't act like a normal person. Okay? This is all done in the great name of drugs bad, disability bad, normal leave it to beaver good. Does that sound sane to you? But these are what the laws in places like Massachusetts are based around. They're based around lies, fantasies. And again, who gets to pay the price? Is that the general public who forces us to play pretend for the majority of our lives? No, they don't have to pay the price. We do. And this is why I am antisocial, folks. But we're going to go ahead and close out on that. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit the like button. Hit subscribe. Don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time. And as always, I hope you all have a good one. I'm going to have me a pull day and try to expunge all the stupid I just read from this lawyer. Bye-bye, everyone.